Hey YouTube, so there was this request that I show off my Tuffy box a little bit and how I have the Highlift jack in here and what it looks like. So here's a Tuffy box right here. Let's do a little videoing and show you around. So this is the back of the Jeep. On a lot of Jeeps you'll see Highlift jacks, and they're usually mounted like over here, and they usually extend above the roof. And being like a very tall Jeep, you know, being any taller is usually not a good idea. And then the other thing is, you usually have to invest in some kind of real like heavy duty mounting system, and I happen to have one, but I still don't have it on the outside to mount the Highlift jack out there. And usually the mounting system almost costs more than the Highlift jack itself. And then the other thing is if you leave the Highlift jack out there in the weather, it usually ends up getting rusty and all nasty and stuff. So anyway, so this is a Tuffy right here. The Tuffy fits in the back of the Jeep. It's this very secure metal thing, and you can see it goes all the way around, wraps around. There's a hole in it right over here for the outlet, and that's like the 12-volt outlet that you can use. It has these weather seals. Mine are broken off after like massive amounts of use. I should probably contact Tuffy and see if I could get a replacement, but normally there's weather stripping here. There's also weather stripping on the inside that you can see way back here. That's weather stripping. Now the difference on mine compared to some of them out there is you'll notice that on mine are just bolts. I went to Home Depot and I got these. So when you buy the Tuffy, it comes with these wing nuts that are like these big massive wing nuts, and I found that they were getting the wing nuts themselves were getting in the way of like everything. So you see, like I have like a floor jack in here, and I have to push basically all the way to the edge. I wouldn't be able to do that if I had the wing nuts in there that came with the big plastic wing nuts. So the first thing was like spending the $5 at Home Depot or whatever to buy some nuts. Then the Highlift itself, the way it operates is you pull back on it. Let's see if I can do it one-handed, and then it lifts up, and you can see with it lifted up, you can basically put anything you want in there. I very rarely lift mine up, but the trick is it has to move back to lift up, and then when you push it forward it locks. And you know, you're probably like, what's the subtle difference between forward and back? So on Jeeps, when the door is shut like that, you cannot pull it back far enough to get it to disengage to get it through this hoop. So basically right now, if I was to lock the Jeep, since you can't open the door, you can't get to the box. You can't get inside the box. And then here's the back side of the box if you're like, you know, maybe somebody can just put the seats down and get in. And you can see it's all nice and secure. And the other thing that you'll notice is there's no exposed like nuts anywhere. All the nuts are on the inside. So there's not even like, somebody couldn't even take like a socket wrench to take it apart. Literally they have to get your back door open to get it open, or like a crowbar and try to, you know, tear it apart, or maybe an angle grinder would be the way. But the nuts aren't even accessible, so you couldn't even just grind them off. You'd have to be really creative. Now here's the max Traxx in the Highlift jack. I posted on Facebook that this was bolted in, and I was actually wrong. The max Traxx are bolted in, and the ratchet strap is holding the max Traxx in place. So I'm going to show that off a little bit. And bear with me, I'm trying to learn this new gimbal that I have, that I got for my birthday. So anyway, so I drilled some holes in the top of the Tuffy, and you can see there's one there, and there's one there. I just measured the exact ways, and there's a large washer, and then, you know, I always carry an American flag with me, believe it or not, on a antenna. This is a fire stick, believe it or not. I've actually had people ask me, you know, how do you mount a American flag on the back of a Jeep? And you know, there's like the little hidden Tuffy that's small. Here's a big one that just screws on, right, with American flag. And if you buy an American flag at Home Depot or off, you know, Amazon or whatever, usually it comes with these like little plastic connectors to mount it to their little little metal collapsible flagpole. Well, those same like connectors, and there's one at the bottom somewhere too, and they break a lot, so I'll zip tie them and everything. Those same connectors will allow you to fasten it to an, like a fire stick antenna, and then with it on the fire stick antenna, you just need a CB mount, and you're good to go. So anyway, the bungee that you see here that I'm taking apart, trying to take apart, trying to get it out of the way at least. That's the one that holds the flag in place and antenna. And then there's the Highlift jack, and you can see it's very easy to remove. You just unhook the ratchet straps. I'm not going to bother with trying to fight without ratchet straps this morning. And you can see you can just tighten it up so it doesn't vibrate. Make it super tight against the Max Traxx. But if I didn't have the Max Traxx in here and I just had the Highlift jack, which some people might do, instead these bolts coming up that I bought from Home Depot, I would just put them through the holes in the Highlift jack. You might have to think about like wrapping it in a towel or something, just so you know, it has the right fit against the big metal box and you don't have like vibration or anything like that. That might be the only thing that you have to consider. The Max Traxx for me, I mean, you see, like they won't even move. Like the whole box moves. Like when I move the Max Traxx, they're so tight in there. I really like the bolting. I like it so much. I'm actually right now just thinking about maybe I should drill a hole in the Max Traxx and then just bolt the damn Highlift jack in also, because I like the way that it's so tight. Yeah, maybe I'll do that and do a video on that. That seems like a good idea. But anyway, to show you how well it's mounted, even when I lift up on it, and you can see there are the bolt holes, and if we can pan in there, you can see I can like move the whole entire thing, and it's really well attached. The other thing to keep in mind is you can see like right here, it's lined up roughly with the seatbelt, like it's underneath the seatbelt here. And like the end point is even pointed out. It's not even folded in, because you can take this bolt and loosen it, and you can flip the hook the other way, so this hoop is on the inside, so it's a little bit shorter. And on this side, it's also lined up with the seatbelt, but it's actually on the inside. And I think I did this for weight purposes, because this is so heavy. I wanted it to be a little bit counter toward the driver a little bit, just so it wouldn't be so awkwardly, it'd be more weight balanced than symmetrically balanced. So anyway, you can see I've had this in here for probably 2 years, and if anything, there's dust on it, but there's no rust. It's in very good condition. I can just take it out and operate it. I probably squirt a little bit of grease or something on it, like never. Probably I should do it like, you know, regularly, like once a month or something like that, but every time I've taken it out, like twice, it's worked perfectly fine for me. I very rarely use this Highlift jack, like you saw in the other video. What I use all the time is this down here. I use a floor jack, and this little thing comes off, you can see, and you can either have it for like stock Jeeps, which is like that, you know, or if you have ones with a lift on it, like even on 40s, you can do that. That's let's see if I can get the name. A big red jack, number 3, from Tractor Supply. I think you can get them maybe for like 50 bucks. If I'll see if I can find the link on Amazon, but I think that's a specific Tractor Supply brand. But if I can find it on Amazon, I'll give you guys a link on Amazon for it. But this is my Tuffy box. This is how it works. And you know, if somebody was like, how do you get it out of here? How do you get, like, if you don't want it? So for me, I just get a socket wrench. You can just pull a couple of these bolts out real quick, and then once you pull these bolts out, the whole thing comes out. I know it sounds like a pain in the ass, but I can do it in about 5 minutes, like if I really want to get rid of the box and like have the entire back seat for some reason. But in the time that I've had the Jeep, I think I've only taken the box out one time, and that was to replace the wing nuts with the bigger bolts. It literally lives in the Jeep all the time, and it's so wonderful to have like a locking trunk. Like that is like the best thing in the world for me, because like I'll put my tools back here, and then the top operation. The top works perfectly fine like this. The entire top folds up back here. So my recommendation on when you put the Highlift jack and the Tuffy in, and when you mount it, put the top down, and then, you know, mount it, and then put the top up, and then everything will be great. Because if you have the top up and then you mount this like way back here, it's gonna get in the way of your top. So just take the top down, and then, you know, figure out how you want to mount it, maybe measure it, and you know, put some marks down or whatever. I think I did it, when I did it, I think I used like a Sharpie or something like that, and then you should be good to go. And it's like super stealth. Like I can close the top, close this, and I mean, other than the American flag, you have no idea that there's a Highlift jack in there, or even a Tuffy, and it's still, I mean, my Jeep is on 40s, you can tell I off-road it, but you can still, it's still sort of semi-safe in that, like, you know, somebody has to like literally like really try to look in the window, and even then you can't really even see that it's there, because you know, my Highlift jack is mostly black and everything is tinted black. There's a red part of the bar, but I mean, and the Max Traxx are black and the Tuffy is black, and I have black interior, so it's very hard to see in the Jeep what exactly is back there. And then the other thing that's nice about this black Tuffy back here is you can't see what's in here, and if I even have anything in the box. And then the other thing I have that I showed off in my other video that works perfectly is this, and this is from JMG Designs. I'll try to zoom in on it. There we go. That's the people. You can look up their website or whatever. And I got this at Topless for Tatas, and it's that whole arrangement of little bags. So this is what it looks like with a Highlift jack. Obviously on the inside, you can see that there's no Highlift jack anywhere, and there's really nothing on the outside that really is too exposed to the weather. There's a tire, and there's obviously the CB antenna, but everything else like lives either on top of or below the Tuffy. So as you can see, here's outside. Nothing's really outside in the weather. All there is just everything is either on top of or below the Tuffy box, and like the only objects that are really on the outside that you can see, you know, obviously is a rear tire, the antenna that has to be out there, my rigid lights, and everything else is nice on the inside and nice and clean and dry. So anyway, so please like and subscribe, and hopefully you enjoyed this review of my Tuffy box.